This is the Orioles POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Baltimore Orioles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday to you. This is the Baltimore Orioles POSTCAST coming to you live on YouTube on the Locked On Podcast Network. If you're new here, my name is Luke Slabaugh. I'm the postgame show host here on Locked On Orioles. Tonight, we celebrate an 11-4 win for the Baltimore Orioles over the rival Toronto Blue Jays. The Jays come in boasting the best record in baseball, hitting .264 that also leads the MLB. And they had a 37-15 record in their past 52 games, well over a 700 winning percentage. Team was on fire, well managed, a lot of breakout talent. Coming in right before the trade deadline for a 4-game set with the O's. 11-4 as the O's hit 4 home runs for the second time in 4 nights and power themselves to a big win at Camden Yards. The O's improved to 10 games under 500. Before we continue, leave a comment in the chat if you're watching live. Also, if you're watching on the replay, hello, nice to see you. It's next morning. You're always welcome here. Like, subscribe, all that jazz supports the greater Locked On Orioles effort. And let me know who your player of the game is. We'll take votes. We'll look at it in the second block. I know who mine is. And we'll dive through this 11-4 win. We'll dissect it piece by piece. We got to start talking about the big addition to the lineup. Back from the IL, Adley Rutschman. Thank you for coming back at this time. You're much needed.
This is what you'll be talking about.
And it occurred to me, looking at this lineup 1 through 9, this is the offense. For lack of a better word, this is how it should be constructed. Give or take a spot start by Ramon Laureano there. He and Tyler O'Neill have combined for 21 home runs this season. So that's your production in right field. Have Ramon as your roving fourth outfielder. But 1 through 9, Kobe Mayo at first base. We'll cast Ryan Mountcastle to the side because he's been hurt since May 30th. Hadn't homered exactly a month before that. So this is how the lineup should be. A lot of talk that they hadn't been healthy all season. But you can see what they can do on a night like this against right-hander Chris Bassitt. Rutschman and Mayo's swings look a lot smoother than they did back when the team was healthy. This was a great approach at the plate. They didn't overextend themselves, and Adley's eye at the plate, really good in that cleanup spot. But Holiday, Westberg, Gunnar, and Rutschman 1 through 4, you're cooking with gas. Home plate umpire Brian Walsh had a tight, albeit fair strike zone for the first couple of innings, the first 3 frames when the O's were at the plate, and then after he was generous on the edges, had a couple of suspicious calls that we may or may not get into later. There was even one against the Blue Jays against Tyler Heineman where it was almost above the letters a called strike, but we'll let it slide. This is an Orioles show. And the O's wear down Chris Bassitt. He only goes 2 1/3 in the first of 4 games and a twin bill tomorrow. That doubleheader looms large for the Toronto Blue Jays, who end up using 5 relievers in relief of Chris Bassitt, who takes his 5th loss of the year. As for Rutschman, he delivers the game-winning hit.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Bottom 3, tie game 3-3. Jordan Westberg hits a single to center field behind Cutter over the plate. Gunnar Henderson then walks, works a really good at-bat, and leave it to Adley Rutschman. Getting ahead in the count, we mentioned Brian Walsh, generous around the edges there behind home plate early in this game. Adley gets ahead 3-1 on Bassitt, then sits on a sinker middle, and charges it to right center field. Bounces off the wall, 2 runs score easily. Westy in and Gunnar hot on his heels. The throw is wide. It's a 5-3 lead for the O's. 1 out later, Ramon Laureano sits on a curve, keeps his hands back, and hits it up the middle for an RBI single. Rutschman chugging around third, no problem, to give the O's a 6-3 lead from which they would never look back. Never trailed in this game. Props to the O's. You want to see how the Magic started an inning prior? Ryan O'Hearn hit a sinker for a single opposite field, and then With 2 outs in the inning, Cedric Mullins, 3-2 count, elevates a two-seam fastball into the flag court for a home run, made it 2-0. His 15th home run of the year ties Laureano for the team lead. And Kobe Mayo gets a hanging slider, wastes no time, hits it to the left field seats for a 3-0 lead in his third home run in an Orioles uniform. You got to keep Kobe Mayo on this roster if and when Ryan Mountcastle returns, and you got to find ways to sneak him at bats in there. Ideally, getting him some reps at first base as well. And you do have Mountcastle on the books for next year as well. So this is going to be tough sledding when you get all the big swingers back, but Kobe Mayo is arriving. What we thought we would see from him late last year and earlier this season, his cup of coffee, it is now coming to fruition. What a night for Kobe Mayo. He finishes 3 for 4 with 2 runs batted in and a run scored. That OPS up to 724 for the rookie. Good for him. And then bottom 5, left-hander Brendan Little, former Cubs first-round pick, starts off well enough, striking out Gunnar Henderson with a knuckle curve in the dirt, and then Adley, sinker on a 3-2 count, hits a double down the left field line past Will Wagner. And then Ryan O'Hearn, who says he can't hit left-handed pitchers. First pitch, middle fastball, hits it to the right center field gap, a much-needed insurance run to make it 7-4. Then Laureano, knuckle curve low and in, and that is his wheelhouse. That's where he likes it. Puts a charge into one, hits a home run to deep left field for a home run, 428 off the bat, makes it a 9-4 ball game. The second home run allowed by Brendan Little all season. Incredible. And then Cowser walks on a 2-1 count. Cedric Mullins gets a sinker middle, hits it into the right field corner for a double. That is when Little is pulled. Right-hander Tommy Nance is in. Kobe Mayo hits a tapper to the mound. Nance decides to go to first instead of home. Cowser was running on contact and looked like the momentum was going to make it a hard shovel pass for Nance anyway. The O's tack on a run, make it 10-4. And then later in the game, how about some Colton Cowser power? He goes yard to make it 11-4, his 9th home run of the season and his first at home. Just a 1-0 sinker down the middle, but hits it to the deepest part of the ballpark, 391 for Colton Cowser. And that's how it was done. Coming up, we'll award our player of the game. We will talk through Zach Eflin's performance, but more so how the bullpen picked him up. We're going to talk about all that after this break. This is the Locked On Orioles postcast. Please stick with us. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? Well, with Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO. More than a budgeting app, it is a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. And for me, always got to be about paring down on the DoorDash. I'm going to be super hungry after tonight. 11 runs. The O's are cooking. And I should be cooking too. But I ran out of blueberries. What am I going to do? Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. I'm noticing now as we pivot to Gameday Hue, the Orioles have won 3 games in a row, and I need to wear the floppy hat. But first, we're talking Gameday Hue. Gameday Hue makes clean, no logo gear with team-inspired colorways for every pro and college fan base. We've shown them on the show, the hats for the last couple of days, and we'll show them again. Traditional fit, modern fit. This might actually be called the classic fit. It's got a little bit of a longer bill. This one is great. I think this one is a great winner for Camden Yards. It's about letting your colors speak for you. It's bold, but it's clean, and it just feels like an everyday type of hat that you can wear to the ballpark. But it's really comfortable. It's built well. And these black ones, there's not a lot of fade on them. They're kind of cool in the back as well. I just saw Nehemiah Lockett comment the other night that he's not a big snapback hat guy. Get with it. Get with Gameday Hue. And it's not just the hats. Obviously, they've got the golf gloves as well. These are quite chic. The leather is premium. It is just nice to wear. It's comfortable. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. The orange and white one is a fave. But again, you can get these in any color. If you're a Ravens fan with training camp going on, you can do black and purple. You can do Terps with a red color scheme. It's designed for every college fan. So if you got a friend or a family member who's not an Orioles fan, or maybe does need Orioles stuff, that was the blueprint right there. Right now, you can get 15% off with code MLB15 at GamedayHue.com. That's GamedayHue.com. The code even stacks on bundle deals, so now's the time to load up. Let your colors talk, because colors speak louder than words. That's Gameday Hue, code MLB15. Thanks to Gameday Hue for sponsoring this show.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
It just feels right. I did my hair tonight because I wanted to look good for you. Adley Rutschman, hands down, our player of the game. 3 for 5 in his return from the IL. 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored. Having him in that 4 hole in the lineup, I think works wonders. For most of this season, with Cowser out and at times Gunnar out with the intercostal strain to start the year, you had him plugged at 2 or 3. You had him hitting in front of Gunnar. And over time, it might prove to be the case that in this iteration of the Baltimore Orioles, not having him in those first 3 batters of the game is gonna pay dividends. Who knows how long Ryan O'Hearn's going to be here? He went 2 for 5 with an RBI. Laureano 2 for 4 with 3 ribbies. We mentioned Kobe Mayo with a 3-hit day. Cedric Mullins with a home run, a double, and an incredible catch that I'm about to get into. But Adley takes the cake today. Scholars will debate how this Baltimore Orioles rotation cannot for the life of them get a shutdown inning. Dean Kramer, the prime offender in April and May. Charlie Morton with that 0-6 start to the year. Cade Povich, we don't even need to talk about. Tomo Sagano. And now Zachary Adams Eflin. Unfortunate that he has been mired by injuries this year because we're not seeing the best of him. And this was a hot, muggy night. We mentioned Chris Bassett was worn down pretty easily. All Eflin needed to do today was outduel Chris Bassett. And by default, he succeeded. He did his job. But after getting that 3-0 lead, back-to-back jacks, 8th time all season, the O's have gone back-to-back with Mullins and Mayo. He gets 2 quick outs in the top of the 3rd. And just this well-fought at-bat by Nathan Lucas, the leadoff hitter, goes down on a curveball that was hanging a little bit at the knees, but just a good low ball swing. Hits a home run to right field, makes it 3-1. And you're thinking, okay, the Jays are back in the game. They're not sitting on their heels. But if you limit them to 1, you can start to create some distance, some separation at the plate. Not the case. He walks George Springer. Then Vlad Guerrero Jr. hits a home run to center field. It looks like Eflin missed with the fastball location there. Made it a 3-3 game. Then given a 6-3 lead. Again, back-to-back 3-run frames for the O's. And 3 crooked numbers tonight for Baltimore. Starts off with Ernie Clement hitting a single. You will go back and look, if you even look at my Twitter, 1-0 count on Clement to lead off this inning. There's this egregious call by Brian Walsh. Like a 2-seam fastball that hits the middle of the plate. Adley is frozen there. Kevin Brown and Ben McDonald are jawing there. And this is when the wheels started to come off for Walsh behind the plate. Like there were many questionable calls on the fringes after this. Up to that point, it had not been so bad. There was a call against Heineman that looked sus. Otherwise, I don't know. So Clement singles on a cutter over the plate. Joey Loperfido hits a single to right field on a low changeup. Tyler Heineman sacrifices them over. And then Will Wagner hits this liner to Jackson Holiday on the bounce. It is a 6-4 game after a run crosses the plate. Nathan Lucas then going for his 2nd home run of the game. And this might as well have been the play of the game as far as I'm concerned. Cedric Mullins. Who cares what the analytics say? when you've got this type of athleticism, 104 miles an hour off the bat, projected distance 402 feet. Lucas puts a charge into one to deep center field, and at the wall, it is 3-2-1 fence. Mullins times it perfectly, comes down with a game-saving catch. Would have tied the game had Lucas gone deep there. Insane. Zachary Eflin tips his cap to Mullins. He only goes 4 1/3. Tony Mansolino pulls the plug early and goes with Corbin Martin, who had a spectacular outing in the context of what he needed to do. Strikes out 4 over an inning and 2/3. Fastball sometimes touching 97, freezing some of these hitters. So what I thought, go to the top of the sixth, he freezes Joey Loperfido looking on a forcing fastball at 95. And then to end the inning, Nathan Lucas kind of throws away his bat and his helmet automatically. A fastball running in low and in. And what a great strike 2 pitch to get Lucas out looking. It was incredible. And all due respect to Colin Selby and Grant Wolfram and Cade Stroud there with a little bit of a rocky command in the ninth, but they did their job. Bullpen looked fine. We will end this show in a couple of ways. One, the doubleheader tomorrow, there are no announced starters at time of recording for this. 12:35 and 6:35 on Masson. We will have one show tomorrow. First block will be game 2. Second block will be game 1. A left-hander, Eric Lauer, is projected to start game 2 for the Jays. He's 6-2 with a 2.61 ERA. No word on the extra man for the O's as well. Also want to give well wishes to George Springer, taking a hit by pitch off the left earmuff on the helmets in the top of the ninth. Just an unfortunate accident. 96-mile-an-hour fastball getting away from Cade Stroud. Obviously not intentional. Kind of clipped his shoulder and then hit his head. But you always worry about head injuries and just the heat that hitters have to deal with. Unfortunate that that's how this game had to end, with a hit by pitch there. But Stroud gets out of it, gets a double play by Bo Bichette to end the game. Well wishes to George Springer and the Jays. Final score tonight, the Baltimore Orioles 11 and the Toronto Blue Jays 4. This has been the Baltimore Orioles postcast. Good night. Stay safe. I will see you right back here tomorrow night.